Hey there, movie fans! It is Collider Videos for your consideration. This is a very, very exciting morning. Just a couple hours ago, we had the Oscar nominations, and I gotta say, to you, the amazing Perri Nemiroff, and to you, the uncanny Jeff Sneider, we've been doing the show now for 4 months. This is like DEF CON 1. This is it. This is what the show is all about. Very, very, very big day. The Oscar nominations were this morning. This was a very, very exciting morning for better or for worse. A lot of good surprises here. A lot of snubs. I don't even know where to begin, but let's just start with what led the way here. Disney getting 16 nominations. Fox Searchlight getting 15 nominations. No surprise there. They are kind of the gold standard when it comes to the Oscars. And then this is a biggie. Netflix. Netflix gets 13 nominations, 10 of them for Roma. Roma tied with the favorite for 10 nominations. That's Fox Searchlight. And then you have both A Star is Born and Vice. Then they had both had 8 nominations, then 7 nominations for Black Panther. Black Panther, the first ever superhero movie to get nominated for Best Picture. Again, lots to talk about. Just overall, Perri, what do you think of the nominations this morning?
Oh, man. Well, first, just to jump off the Black Panther conversation, here's yet another reminder why the Best Popular Film Award should never come back into the conversation ever again, because look at this. Black Panther got that nomination all on its own, and the second you introduce that category, hopefully they never do it, that completely takes away certain movies' chances to excel, even though it isn't considered a traditional Oscar movie. And speaking of untraditional Oscar movies, I'm pretty sure this is the end to that conversation of, oh, it doesn't have a chance because it's a Netflix movie.
Yep, that's
they completely changed the game this morning. That movie got so many nominations. 2 of the biggest and most pleasant surprises, I think, of the entire morning. So,
oh yeah, absolutely. We'll get into that.
There's things I'm a little sensitive about, but so far, so good.
Okay, how about you, Jeff?
I'm mixed overall in the nominations. There were some real head scratchers today. Overall, though, I'm glad that Green Book, is nominated. And A Star is Born, even though Bradley got snubbed, but we're going to talk about that. I think Bohemian Rhapsody is a great nomination. A lot of people are down on that this morning, but I think it shows that people in this town really care about the work, and they won't discriminate against the work, because it's put together by thousands of people. They won't penalize the work just because of the actions of one person.
And I have to say this. Okay, so Netflix, 13 nominations, 10 of them for Roma. Yes, this is a breakthrough year. This is a landmark year. This is a turning point year for the movie business that a streaming service got so many nominations, 10 of them for one movie alone. But did it come at a cost? I say yes. I've been working in this business for 28 years, and I have to say I have never seen the kind of promotion and advertising and marketing that Netflix got. Also, a big breakthrough for Netflix and for theater owners was that they actually did screen it in theaters, which is hopefully something that Netflix will continue to do, show their movies in theaters for at least a little bit so people could see it.
It was a huge campaign, and they spent millions and millions of dollars. But you know what? That's on them. They have the deep pockets. Why not go for it? They brought in Lisa Tabak and her team this year to head up awards over there, and it paid off. As far as I'm concerned, it may pay off further. If it wins Best Picture, but at this point, I think the nomination is a win.
I think it's money well spent. Not even just for right now, but what you were saying in the long term, because we're talking about that constantly with the rise of streaming services and the competition between all of them. That's what they're doing. They have huge debts because they're overspending, they're making their marks, they're digging their heels in hopes that when, let's say, the Disney streaming service launches and then some, they're in a position where they're still kind of the front runner in the streaming industry. And I think this is part of that puzzle.
Well, the other thing about Netflix, in terms of breakthrough years for streaming services to get the recognition and respect from the Academy, what Netflix has done this year is the motherlode. I mean, not only is this the first Netflix film to get nominated for Best Picture, but we'll get to this in a sec, but hey, this will most likely be the first time that Netflix will win the Oscar for Best Picture.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, but
I mean, leaving aside the Netflix of it all, this is still a black and white foreign language film. That is an accomplishment in and of itself, getting nominated for Best Picture. But yeah, I think whether it wins is up for debate. I don't think that it is the front runner.
But but just, I know we're going to talk about the top categories here. Yeah. But the fact that Roma is such a front runner for picture and director, does that leave the door open for another black and white foreign film to win Best Foreign Film? Of course, I'm talking about Cold War, whose director, Paweł Pawlikowski, got nominated for Best Director.
I think that's a very reasonable question to be asking, because clearly the Academy likes both movies. Mm-hmm. They both surprised with more nominations, most certainly, than I had predicted. So I do think that's a real conversation worth having, where now with Roma, I don't necessarily think Roma is the front runner, but I think it is part of a group of front runners now that have grown pretty much with every single day of this award season, especially with Green Book taking the PGA win.
Right.
But now, between the Best Director honor and Cold War being in that foreign language category, if I had a bet right now, I would still bet on Roma, but I would not be surprised if Cold War won the foreign language honor.
Okay, I agree with that.
What is going on this show? Are you guys serious?
Yeah.
You think Roma's the front runner, and you think Roma's the front runner
For Best Picture?
I think
Yes.
it's part of a group of front runners. I'm not isolating it yet.
What does this mean? This is the group. There's 8 nominees we're talking about.
Well, let's
You could
work
whittle
our
that
way
down significantly.
Let's work our way to Best Picture. Let's talk about the top 6 categories here, starting with Best Supporting Actress. Okay, the nominees for Best Supporting Actress: Amy Adams for Vice, Marina de Tavira for Roma, Regina King, If Beale Street Could Talk, and the favorite pair of Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz. Okay, your take on these nominations.
Whoa, my take on these nominations were, I predicted it. And I think that was the case for all of us. The obvious ones here were definitely Amy Adams, Regina King, Emma Stone, Rachel Weisz. We've been saying that for months now.
But
that 5th spot, Marina getting it. When I heard her name, I was just overjoyed, because I never thought that would happen. But when it was announced too, it's like, then you got to think, well, like, who did I think before was going to get in that now isn't? Which is where I come down to one, Claire Foy, because Claire Foy was in my top spot, not my top spot, my 5th spot last night, where I thought she was going to get the number 5. Clearly that didn't happen. The other thing I started to think about is, with 2 SAG nominations going to Emily Blunt, I was trying to figure out where Emily Blunt would land, because I was sure she was going to get a nomination. I had put her in my 5 spot for Best Actress for Mary Poppins, and thought she had less of a chance of getting it for A Quiet Place, so I had her up there instead. Doesn't even matter. She didn't get a nomination here.
You know, this morning when the nominations were being announced, it was the first category that was announced this morning at 5:20 a.m. was Best Supporting Actress. And immediately you have a surprise with Marina de Tavira getting nominated. I thought that was a great surprise, because if you're going to talk about Yalitza Aparicio, who got nominated for Best Actress, you got to talk about Marina. I mean, she's just as deserving. Jeff, what's your take on Supporting Actress?
So I predicted an upset in Supporting Actress, but I picked the wrong one.
Yeah.
So I knew something big was going to happen. I thought Michelle Yeoh was going to slip in for Crazy Rich Asians. Sure. I did not predict Claire Foy. I did not predict Emily Blunt. So, but Marina was a real surprise. I'm curious why you guys think we haven't been talking about her all season. You know, like why wasn't she in the conversation? No, Marina. Why wasn't she in the conversation?
Well, we're
all guilty of it. She barely came up on this show.
You're right. Why?
I'm asking. What do you think?
I don't know.
So when we're doing predictions on this show, it's about gauging the temperature of the room. It's about hearing the conversation and predicting what is most likely to win. And when Roma first kicked off its run during the festival circuit, it felt like the large majority of the conversation was all about Alfonso. Every piece that I read about the movie was largely about him. And then as the movie came out on Netflix, that's when I started to hear some real talk about Yalitza all of a sudden. But I wouldn't have had Marina on like my top 10 for a likely nomination. I'm not saying that has nothing to do with whether I think she's deserving or not.
Right.
Just predicting.
But
I did not think she had a chance.
I think that this nomination, in addition to the Pawlikowski directing nomination, is a direct influence of the Academy's big diversity push, okay? And inviting so many international filmmakers and people, who work in international cinema around the world into the Academy. I think that this is what you get, and you're going to see more nominations like this in the future, where the Academy is embracing world cinema in major categories.
Right, absolutely, and I think that's a big reason for. Listen, it's exciting. It's exciting.
I'm happy for her.
In the last 2 years, the Academy membership has increased by a third. And that third is gender equality. There's a lot more diversity there. So that old, and Jeff, we've heard this for years in our various places that we worked at, you too, Perri, about how, the Academy's full of a bunch of old fogies. They're never going to go for a movie like Roma. Well, guess what? If they're going to go for a movie like Birdman, which won Best Picture for 2014, and now that you have so many more people, more diversity, more gender equality, they're definitely going to go for a movie like Roma because there is more diversity within the ranks of the Academy. A lot more than there ever was, let's face it.
It's true. It's just as you're describing this, and especially saying gender equality, the one category that crosses my mind is not a single female director
one
in
woman
there.
was director.
And
in
my mind, I think that Marielle Heller, should she have popped up in that category, would have been well deserving.
I liked Tamara Jenkins for Private Life.
The other thing that this kind of showed these nominations is the Academy kind of rejecting both First Man and A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
Neither of which got screenplay nominations, but we're going to talk about that elsewhere at another time. But yeah, the Claire Foy thing, I think it was surprising, but yeah, it really did show that First Man it didn't have it this year.
And if there was any sort of like above the line-ish type of category where First Man really sort of had it, was Best Original Score. And Justin Hurwitz, who won the Critics' Choice, he won the Golden Globe for his score, wasn't even nominated. I think you're right. And, listen, I love First Man. I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's a brilliant film. I think it just got overlooked in a lot of ways, and I think maybe time will be good to First Man. It'll be appreciated down the line, but, too little too late in this case. But for supporting actress, other omissions here, including Claire Foy, like you said, Emily Blunt for A Quiet Place. I thought that she was more of a long shot, but I was rooting for her because I loved her in A Quiet Place, but also because of the SAG nomination for supporting actress. But another big snub here I thought was Nicole Kidman for Boy Erased.
Yeah, wow.
I thought you were going to mention Margot Robbie because she got the SAG nomination, but I thought that was
I thought that
just wild.
I thought that was lucky.
Odd.
I thought that was lucky. But Nicole Kidman for Boy Erased. I mean, her scene in that movie. Shame on you. Shame on me. Like I thought that would have been a great for your consideration clip. But okay.
There's the 1-2 punch of Destroyer and Boy Erased, and again, it's well worth repeating. They're human beings that are voting on these awards, and it could possibly go through someone's mind, which one should I vote for her in? I'm not going to vote for both, and that could have been what took her out of both categories.
Absolutely. Who's winning? Who's winning this category?
I think it's a done deal that Regina King is winning
Regina
this
King.
Oscar.
Regina King.
Agreed.
All right, I agree. We're in cahoots here. We are in cahoots here. Right, Regina King for supporting actress. Let's move on to supporting actor. The nominees are Mahershala Ali for Green Book, Adam Driver, yay, BlacKkKlansman, Sam Elliott for A Star Is Born, Richard E. Grant, Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Sam Rockwell for Vice. Here's the thing, Mahershala Ali, his second nomination. I think we know where this is going here because this is more of a lead performance. Sam Elliott, his first ever Oscar nomination. Whoa.
Pretty cool.
I was like, wait a minute, really? And then I go on IMDb and I'm looking, I was like, well, what do you know? It is his first nomination. Snubs here, definitely no Timothy Chalamet for Beautiful Boy. What do you think of this category, Jeff?
Ridiculous. Like this, what more does this kid have to do? He was just tremendous in that movie. Yeah, it was more of a lead role, but so is Mahershala Ali. You could argue the same thing with Adam Driver too. Even Richard E. Grant, like that's a two-hander. Can You Ever Forgive Me? I think it was was a weak year for supporting actor. Like Sam Rockwell getting in for a 10-minute George Bush like impression. You got to be kidding me, Academy.
I agree.
This was a real head scratcher this morning.
I don't think it was a weak year for supporting performances, but that is head scratcher is the only way to describe it. When I realized that they had skipped over Timothée Chalamet's name alphabetically, I didn't know what to say. He was just one of the most obvious contenders from the second I saw Beautiful Boy. I thought it was locked, a done deal. I actually thought that this category was going to be, I don't know, I feel bad using the word the dullest, but the dullest in terms of not having any surprises. I had the 5. I thought it was going to be those 5. And of all people to have taken out, Timothée Chalamet. So I had Mahershala Ali, Richard E. Grant, then Timothée Chalamet. Right. If anything, I thought Sam Elliott or Adam Driver would have dropped off the list. And I'm happy they didn't, but still, how did Timothée Chalamet come off this list and Sam Rockwell get that spot?
Listen, there's a lot of push, obviously. Vice got nominated for 8 Oscars, so there's obviously a big support in the Academy. It got nominated for all the important ones: lead actor, supporting actor, picture, director, screenplay.
I really did not care for that movie. They really like and respect Adam McKay.
Right.
I loved that movie. That movie was in my top 10, and I do think Sam Rockwell is great in it. But the idea of picking between Sam Rockwell and Timothée Chalamet is a no-brainer to me, and I think they got it wrong.
Also, you know what? The Academy obviously really loves Sam Rockwell. He's the most recent Oscar winner for supporting actor last year for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Who's winning this category, Jeff? I think it's pretty obvious.
I think it's Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala.
Right there with you.
All right, we are in cahoots on supporting actor. Wow, we agree. We agree. I sure do love when we agree. See, we really are friends. We respect each other. We love each other.
Shaping up to be such a boring...
You don't have to agree and be friends.
No,
you can disagree
we can respectfully disagree.
Yeah, exactly.
But big love for you guys. I was so excited. This, of all the For Your Consideration shows that we've done so far, I was so excited about this one. I was like, watch the show tomorrow. All right, let's move on to Best Actress here. The nominees are Yalitza Aparicio for Roma, Glenn Close for The Wife, Olivia Colman for The Favorite, Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born, Melissa McCarthy for Can You Ever Forgive Me? Glenn Close's 7th nomination. She has never won yet. Interesting snubs here, I would say. Nicole Kidman for Destroyer, not nominated. Emily Blunt for Mary Poppins Returns, not nominated. What's your take on this category, Perri?
I think they nailed it here.
Yeah.
I did not have Yalitza on my predictions, but I most certainly think she deserves to be in there with the other 4. Lady Gaga, Glenn Close, Olivia Colman, and Melissa McCarthy. Again, no-brainers to me. They had these nominations locked for weeks, and I was just weighing that 5th spot. And of everybody in contention, I went with Emily Blunt. I thought she had the best possible chance. Nicole Kidman is great in Destroyer, but I didn't think that she was going to crack this list. And when I heard Yalitza's name announced, especially because after we heard Marina, then I started to think,
I was like, as soon as they mentioned Marina, I'm like, Yalitza's got it.
Like, maybe she does have it. I was on ET Live this morning, and they had her call in with her translator, and she just had such beautiful things to say about, never having acted before and being new to this industry and what it means to her to be part of it all. And it's just like, it warms my heart to hear a story like that. And she is just incredible in that movie.
Absolutely. You know what? She was not my 5th choice. Like you, I went with Emily Blunt for Mary Poppins Returns for my 5th choice. But I kept going, should I go back on Gold Derby and change it to Yalitza? But, I feel like something you tipped on before about how Alfonso Cuarón has just been everywhere. I feel like the star of this movie is Alfonso Cuarón. It's his personal movie.
He's the star, but he has never not taken an opportunity to give the 2 of them a shout out.
Right.
In everything I've heard from him, he praises them to no end, as he should. It's a team effort.
All right, Jeff.
I too cynically thought Emily Blunt was going to get that 5th slot just because Disney spent a lot on that Mary Poppins campaign, plus the Her and Quiet Place thing. I thought the Academy might give her the benefit of the doubt. I think it's great to see Yalitza here. I think Perry's right that they kind of did nail it, and I'll go one step further and say Yalitza probably not even my 5th slot right now. I think that she has a better chance than Melissa McCarthy.
But
I could see Yalitza winning the Oscar ahead of Melissa McCarthy.
I
will she
actually
win
think I
the
would agree
Oscar
with you on
ahead
that.
of the favorite here? And I don't mean Olivia Colman. All right, who's going to win this category, Jeff? Come on.
To be determined.
You're not going to make a prediction now?
No,
Come on.
I'm not.
Come
I'm
on.
not going to.
Grow a pair. Say it. Come on, Jeff. I'm going to say it.
All right. Then all right. I'll say Olivia Colman, the favorite.
You're going to say Olivia Colman. All right.
I like his prediction better than what I'm going to say.
What's
I
your
want
prediction?
Jeff to be right, but I'm going to go with Glenn Close.
Yep.
I think that A Star is Born is losing a little bit of steam. If I had to narrow it down to two, it would be Glenn Close and Lady Gaga. But if I had to make a prediction on the spot, I'm going Glenn Close.
I've been saying this this whole season on every show where we've talked about lead actress. This is Glenn Close's Oscar to lose. It is her 7th nomination. She has never won an Academy Award. There is no way that Glenn Close is going to lose a Best Actress Oscar to Lady Gaga. It's not going to happen. And Lady Gaga will be just fine. She will get her Oscar for Shallow,
Yes.
for Best Song. She'll be just fine. But this is her year. It's a great performance. Yeah, not a lot of people saw the film, but it is a great performance. It's an Oscar-worthy performance. She's deserving of a win. And because of the support for her and the fact that she's never won an Oscar, this is her year. It's
The
hers
favorite
to
has
lose.
how many nominations?
Who?
The favorite has how many nominations? 10?
The favorite has 10.
Yeah.
Just saying that is a well-liked film in the Academy. And
Okay, well, remember when American Hustle got how many nominations and it won nothing?
yeah, no, you're
know?
listen. That's a great point. That's a good counter.
Right?
Scott.
I'm also concerned that some voters might wind up kind of writing Olivia Colman off because of the whole debate about who the lead of that movie is. I think, if anything, that's the major thing working against her right now.
Well, okay.
We'll see.
Definitely this is a category
lot
to
of
watch.
race left. A lot of race left to run here. We're now entering phase 2 as of this morning.
Okay, let's move on to lead actor, best actor. The nominees are Christian Bale for Vice, Bradley Cooper for A Star is Born, Willem Dafoe for At Eternity's Gate, Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, Viggo Mortensen for Green Book. Very interesting category. I thought they nailed it with this one. Although some people feel like Willem Dafoe for At Eternity's Gate was kind of a surprise.
I didn't see the movie, so I can't say. What did you see it, Perry?
saw it.
I never
We're
watched it,
bad.
but now I have to.
You know what? Let's go. We'll
course.
go together. Let's
Okay.
cut out of work one day.
All
and
right.
we'll go see it.
Deal.
No, listen, he absolutely deserves it. I mean, what was it? Last year, he was nominated for the Florida Project. So, and listen, this is a great performance in a beautifully shot film. And I think it was great that he got nominated. 4th nomination for Christian Bale. Of course, he won supporting actor for his role in The Fighter. And then Viggo Mortensen, his 3rd nomination. I love that he's been nominated 3 times. But I think when it comes, any snubs here in the acting category, lead actor.
People will say Ethan Hawke, right? But
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke, what about-
I don't necessarily
Ethan Hawke
agree.
a little. The only other obvious one to
John-
me is John David Washington,
Right.
especially with that SAG honor. I was looking forward to hearing his name announced here. But again, having not seen At Eternity's Gate yet, I can't take that away from Willem Dafoe. And, it came down to the end of 2018 and you start scrambling to cram in all those last minute screeners. And I started prioritizing things based on my predictions. And I had kind of knocked this off the list. I did put First Reform ahead of it for Ethan Hawke, and I also put You Were Never Really Here ahead of it because I thought that could wind up sneaking in somewhere, and it didn't. But At Eternity's Gate, clearly it pulled it off, and now I got to watch it ASAP.
Big win for CBS Films. I'll tell you that.
This is another category where the fifth slot here, I kept going back and forth between John David Washington and in Ethan Hawke and for Willem Dafoe. So the fact that Willem Dafoe got in, I feel like lead actor nailed it. Okay, Perri, who is going to win lead actor?
So originally, I would have wholeheartedly said Christian Bale. Now I think I am tipping the scale a little bit to it being a 3-man race between Christian Bale, Bradley Cooper, and Rami Malek, with Bradley Cooper coming pretty close to my frontrunner spot because he wasn't given the Best Director nomination. I do
Okay.
think that going into voting for the wins, that could be something that, let's say he had been in both both categories, I think we would have had one of those split decision type of situations where one might have taken away from the other. Now that he is firmly there by himself, I think he has a better chance than he would had he also gotten the Best Director nomination.
Okay, Jeff, I got to tell you, all right, no. What's your prediction?
No. You tell me, Scott.
Listen,
you gotta
I don't
tell
think
me.
that Bradley Cooper is a front runner for lead actor. I think this is up between Christian Bale and Rami Malek.
Okay.
Now, Christian Bale winning not just one but 2 awards at the Critics' Choice Awards. I mean, it's the Critics' Choice Awards, but they are a great indicator of. I mean, they're certainly shaping up to look very good for the Oscars
we also have the SAG Awards coming up, and once we see what wins there too, that could kind of change the direction here.
Even though SAG obviously is not lined up with Oscars this year, with Margot Robbie and John David Washington.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know.
Ethan
It really
Hawke,
is like a 50-50 shot between Christian Bale and Rami Malek, and I'm just going to make a bold choice now. Of course, I could change, because we have a month and a half until the Oscars.
He's reserving the right to change, everybody. This is not a permanent prediction. Go ahead,
But
Scott.
I am going to go with Rami Malek. I mean, the movie's made over $800 million worldwide. I think that's awesome. By the way, between Black Panther making $1.3 billion worldwide and Bohemian Rhapsody making $800 million worldwide, that's going to translate into a lot of eyeballs watching the Oscars. Ratings are going to actually probably be pretty decent because people will have seen some of the nominated movies. But I'm going with Rami Malek here for lead actor. Let's move on to best.
What
is happening?
What?
I gotta weigh in here, man.
Oh, wait. I'm waiting for you.
I'll tell you, this is tough. This is really tough because I actually like Perry's logic about Bradley Cooper getting like a bit of a sympathy vote because he didn't get a directing nomination. Plus, I really do think he gave the best performance of the year, honestly. Between Bale and Rami Malek, it is a real toss-up. You're absolutely right. 800 million worldwide. Like, people love Freddie Mercury. They don't like Dick Cheney. He's kind of the young, new, hot star. So, part of me wants to say Rami Malek. Like, my head is telling me Rami Malek.
I like that part of you that wants to say Rami Malek.
I still think, just on the strength of how many nominations Vice got today, that they really like Vice, and Bale has never won Best Actor proper. I think that Christian Bale is going to win. So, Bale, Malek, Cooper, we're all over the place here on FYC.
Okay, that's good. But don't forget about our bet, mister. $20.
Believe me, I haven't forgotten about our bet.
$20. We have $20 bet on Glenn Close winning Best Actress. So you better get a part-time job to pay me back, buddy boy.
History.
All right, history will be made right here on Collider Videos for your consideration. On February 25th, you are going to see dollars change hands from Sneider to Mantz, and Perri's going to have a big, awesome smile watching it happen. I love it. All right, now we move on to Best Director, a category that has a load of conversation attached to it. The nominees are Spike Lee, finally getting nominated for Best Director for Black Klansman, Powell Palakowski for Cold War, Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, Adam McKay for Vice. Interesting, very, very glaring snubs here. No Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born. No Peter Farrelly for Green Book, despite the fact that Farrelly was nominated for Best Director by the Directors Guild, despite the fact that Green Book, as you said, Perri, Green Book winning Best Picture at the Producers Guild. What's your take on this category?
Whoa, this one was a bit of a shock to me. My predictions were largely lined up with the DGA nominations, and clearly that was kind of thrown off big time. I mean, especially the Bradley Cooper one. I think that might be one of the most shocking snubs of the entire morning to me, because ever since I saw A Star Is Born, I thought that was a sure thing. And I really do genuinely believe he deserves it. We're constantly having that conversation of, we've seen this story done before, but I thought he brought such style and flavor to that movie. And also, everybody along the awards campaign that is in that movie has not stopped talking about what a wonderful leader he was. And that's part of the reason why we have such great performances. That's part of the reason why the chemistry between him and Lady Gaga is through the roof. And overwhelming when you watch that movie. So I do think that is a huge, huge snub. I thought that Peter Farrelly was going to get in there, especially after the PGA win. I was very happy to see Yorgos in there because The Favorite was my favorite movie of 2018. And I think that's another example of a captain steering the ship where every single element of that production is firing on all cylinders and watching him put it all together so seamlessly. I gotta say, like Barry Jenkins, I knew it wasn't going to happen. I knew he didn't have a choice, but didn't have a chance. But it seems like a big shame to me.
There wasn't enough noise for Barry Jenkins.
I know.
And Powell Pawlikowski for Cold War took
a surprise.
Took Bradley Cooper's spot. Jeff. Shaking his head.
Just a tragic group of nominees. Honestly, honest to God, I think these nominees are atrocious. I mean, Black Klansman and Vice are messy, messy movies. Like, they certainly display like a certain vision from a filmmaking standpoint, so I can understand the nominations in that sense. But those are like 2.5-star movies at best. Ooh. At best.
Wow.
Cold War. Oh my God, so boring. Like, so we shoot a movie in black and white, we get a nomination automatically these days.
You could say the same thing about Roma.
No, but Roma, there's certain artistry that Cold War lacks, I think. Honestly, listen, this is a lock. Cuarón's got this for sure. Mm-hmm. Lanthimos might get my vote on this ballot. Like, I thought that he did a really good job with The Favorite. So many, like, that movie could have gone horribly wrong, and he kind of navigates this very tricky balance to it. But yeah, Peter Farrelly did such a great job with Green Book. I know it's not the most flashily directed movie, you know, and it doesn't have it's crazy that he didn't get in. Bradley Cooper got snubbed. Chloe Zhao, who did The Rider, should have, honestly, if we're giving nominations to Cold War, give it to her. How is there not any female filmmakers?
Not one woman.
Not
awful.
even
Awful.
Marielle Heller,
Awful.
Lynn Ramsey, Karin Kusama. There is a list of female directors who should have been in the conversation.
Absolutely. No question about it. And listen, Spike Lee getting his first ever nomination for Best Director. He's also nominated for producing, so he got a Best Picture nomination and also a screenplay nomination. He co-wrote the screenplay for Black Klansman. I disagree with you here, Jeff. I think Black Klansman is his most accomplished movie since Do the Right Thing, and that was 30 years ago.
You,
it is.
You should rewatch that movie.
Yeah, I think you should too.
I definitely liked it a lot more than you after the first viewing, but watching it again and just seeing the precision of certain details and how certain things connect and just certain stylistic choices that really enhance the overall experience, I'm telling you, just
Spike Lee's
give it
my
another
third
shot.
favorite. This is what I think of the nominees here. Spike Lee's my third favorite nominee.
What's going on there?
Well, then you have Adam
you tell
McKay.
me.
Adam McKay, look, 3 nominations for Adam McKay, Best Director, Best Picture, because he co-produced, and also Best Original Screenplay. He is an Oscar nominee for his screenplay, adapted screenplay for The Big Short. That movie also got nominated for directing. So, it's definitely a very worthy category here. Although, again, no Bradley Cooper, no Peter Farrelly. Those are the biggest snubs. The biggest snub of all, if I could just detract for a second, the biggest, oh my gosh, what the F moment I had this morning was for Best Documentary, How Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Yeah.
The frontrunner, the Mr. Rogers movie that has made $23 million, which is like a blockbuster by documentary standards, not including like Fahrenheit 9/11.
The documentary branch is broken.
It is broken, because
broken,
remember 4
it can't be
years
fixed.
ago, the Roger Ebert documentary Life Itself?
Yeah.
That was the front runner and it wasn't even nominated. Something is wrong with the directing category. But who's winning Best Director? Paranormal Activity.
If I could hand that Oscar statue to someone, I would choose Yorgos. I think that is a phenomenal film and I want to see him win. I think Cuarón has it locked. Nobody is touching it. He is going to run away with this category.
Which is like why, we're talking about 6 categories today. 3 of them are done deals, it feels like, between Mahershala, Regina King, and now
Directing.
this. So it's shaping up. There's a lot of suspense around Best Picture and the lead acting races, but at the same time, we know a lot of the winners already.
Well, let's get to Best Picture now. The nominees for Best Picture, ladies and gentlemen, are Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice. Okay, Perri, what do you think of the noms?
I nailed it. I went 8 for 8. It was pretty obvious to me. And then the only thing I had, like I'll make my list and then I'll italicize a couple underneath it, just ones that could get in there. The only other one I had was If Beale Street Could Talk. And I really do think it's a shame that that one is not in the mix with these others, but this turned out to be a pretty predictable category here.
And I got to say, in addition to If Beale Street Could Talk, other movies that I was sort of rooting for to get in, obviously I know you agree with me on 8th Grade.
Yes.
That would have been awesome to see that get nominated.
There's one snub. I'm going to call it a snub. There's one snub today that I'm really disappointed about, that it didn't get anything.
Obviously, you know how I feel about First Man. I wish that got in. I'm not surprised that it didn't, but I will always love First Man because I am First Mantz. Okay, let's just set that. Hashtag First Mantz.
Yes.
But the other movie
Yes,
that I was really rooting for here, really rooting since March, since that amazing surprise reaction to the screening at South by Southwest, A Quiet Place. I will watch that movie over and over again. I think A Quiet Place is an instant classic, not just as a sci-fi horror movie, but as a movie by any measure. It's a great film that should have been nominated for Best Picture. Maybe it was number 9. Who knows? All right, what do you think, Jeff?
As far as what, just the Best Picture race and what the front runner is, I think it's Green Book after that PGA win. The movie's starting to do a little bit better at the box office. But here's the problem with Green Book, and here is the problem with A Star is Born. Both movies are nominated for Best Picture. Okay.
Neither film's director was nominated for Best Director. It's really hard for a movie to win Best Picture when its director wasn't nominated. I know what you're going to say.
Do
Argo.
you?
Argo.
No,
Argo.
You don't know what I'm going to say.
Okay.
I'm going to fight stats with
Wait,
stats.
hang on.
You're busting out the lightsaber. What about editing? Where's Roma's editing nom? It doesn't have one.
No. It is very rare for a movie to win Best Picture when its director wasn't even nominated. Ben Affleck, not nominated for Argo. That movie won Best Picture. Bruce Beresford, not nominated for Driving Miss Daisy, a movie that is very similar to Green Book, but that movie won Best Picture for 1989. So, I mean, it's happened, but it's really rare, which is why, even though I love Green Book is my favorite movie of 2018, next to the likes of First Man and A Quiet Place, Roma is going to win the Oscar for Best Picture.
Did you just say, wait, that sentence started out as Green Book is my favorite movie of the year next to 2 other movies?
Yeah, well, it's my favorite next to those.
So it's third favorite.
What? No. It's my favorite next to. It's like almost
so
like
it's
a tie.
Like it's 1, and then you have a 2 and a 3.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Like Roma is a beautiful film. It's a poetic film. It's an artistic film.
Yep.
It is a bold, challenging film. You have long takes.
Yep.
It is black and white. You have no score.
Yep.
It is a great movie by any measure. It deserves to win on those very many merits. But here's the thing that will put it over the top. What's going on in this country right now? You have a government shutdown because of Trump's wall around Mexico. You have a very liberal academy which might use this opportunity to say, we are going to give a movie about Mexico the award for Best Picture. And is going to be the 5th time in 6 years that a Mexican filmmaker won Best Director. Alfonso Cuarón won for Gravity. Then Alejandro Iñárritu back-to-back for Birdman and The Revenant. Then Damien Chazelle for La La Land. And then last year, Guillermo del Toro for Shape of Water. And Alfonso Cuarón will win again, bookend this category the last 6 years with his win for Roma. But that's something that, I'm not choosing sides, I'm not getting political, but the Oscars sometimes can get political. And I think there's something to be said about a movie about Mexico winning the Oscar for Best Picture at a time when Mexico is very much in political news.
What do you think of that, Perri?
Make a good point. I think at this point in time, Originally, I was going into this thinking A Star is Born is the clear frontrunner. But now I need to take into consideration Green Book's PGA win, but also all the love the Academy has already showed Roma, where it was probably one of the biggest surprises to me of today with how many nominations it actually got. So at this point, I think those three have the best possible chance of winning. If I had to put money on one right now, I think I'm giving Roma the edge. I think of all of the awards campaigns, too, Roma, yes, they spent a lot of money, but I think they played the long game a little better. Green Book has just had too many bumps in the road. Star is Born peaked early. Roma is really the only one that kicked into high gear at the end of December.
That's right. I absolutely agree with that.
I just don't think it's going to win.
You don't think Roma's going to win?
No, I do not.
You're still going with Green Book?
I'll go with Green Book or Star is Born or even Black Panther.
Star is Born is not winning. Black Panther is not winning. Black Panther it was great that it was nominated, the first superhero movie to get nominated. I think that's awesome. I think that Green Book still does have a chance, even though the odds are a little bit slimmer because Farrelly was not nominated. It is Roma's to lose. Roma will be Netflix's
Want to make another
first
bet? You want to do Roma and I'll take the field again?
You want to double
another 20?
Double or nothing?
Yeah.
All right. So now we're up to $40.
So you're taking Roma and I'm taking anything else.
Well, no. I'm taking Glenn Close and Roma.
Like
You're
deja
taking
vu.
anything else in actress or best picture.
Yes, that's what
All
I'm
right,
saying.
so now we're up to $40. Perri, all right,
Witness.
ladies and
I am
gentlemen,
the witness.
everyone
It's
watching,
happening.
you
I'll do
heard
it.
this. We
I'll
have
take the
doubled the
field.
bet.
I'll take the
we
field.
have doubled the bet, and it's now up to $40. I say Roma for best picture, and I say Glenn Close for best actress. If both of those win, this sucker right here.
Go fund me.
Okay, come on. What do you think of this bet? In fact, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of all of the nominations that we talked about? What do you think of all the predictions for the winners? Make sure you comment below. Let us know what you think. Make sure you hit us up at Nemiroff, Sneider, Movie Mantz on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you hashtag not Movie Review Talk for your
FYC.
consideration. Collider FYC, hashtag Collider FYC. Tag Collider Video. Make sure you share this show with everyone. Make sure you retweet this show, share it with everyone. Make sure you like our podcast. Make sure you share that, review that. Please. We love doing this show. We are really, this is it. This is the zenith here, talking about the Oscar nominations this morning with you two. I mean, this has really, really been exciting. Make sure you come back next time for your consideration, because these two here are going to talk about the other nominees, the other categories are going to get below the line here. I'm going to be off at Sundance, and I'll be back next time. But make sure you watch them on the next episode of For Your Consideration. And until then, FY. See you later.
Hey everybody, Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode. You want to watch more? Then click up here, or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. If you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.